Most High God comes first. The stream is brought to you by L.I.V.E products. L.I.V.E, live now, we're live now. If you live in the Trinidad and Tobago area, we have products, drinks, punches, snacks, and cleaning products. L.I.V.E, live now, we're live now. Let's get into it one time. You know, Warner Brothers and the mainstream media keep on touting Superman's domestic numbers. And the domestic numbers are not bad. Okay? They're not bad numbers. Whether you adjust for inflation or not with the previous films, it's somewhat irrelevant because $331 million domestically is a good chunk of money. Right? It's a good chunk of money. Superman made $331 million domestically as of Sunday. Worldwide coup made at $579 million. Not bad. But we're going to look at Superman's international numbers because you need two sets of numbers. You need the domestic and then you have the international numbers. Now I listen to some people try to explain away the fact that studios collect more money from domestic numbers. And so the international numbers don't matter as much because they collect less. No, every penny matters much. And I'll show you what I mean. And I can tell you right now, as a fact, no cap, Superman has abysmal international numbers. And it's basically a flop. It's flopped international. I'm going to show you, they like to tout the domestic numbers, but you need the both numbers, and I'll show you what I mean. Superman, let's compare it to Man of Steel. Okay? This is Man of Steel's domestic numbers, which is close to 300 million, and international numbers is close to 380 million. 380 million. Superman's international number is 248 million. 248 million. 380 million. 248 million. 380 million. Let's do a calculation, see how much more, unadjusted for inflation, Superman, how much more Man of Steel has made over Superman. So we said 380 million is the international for Superman versus 248 million. It is more than 1.5 times bigger than what Superman has garnered so far internationally. Okay? Let's compare Superman to Batman v Superman, since they're talking about it past Batman v Superman numbers not adjusted for inflation. 544 million. 544 million to 248 million. How many times has Batman v Superman international gotten bigger than Superman? 2.2 times, or 2 2/5 bigger than Superman's international box office. This is not adjusted for inflation. Let's look at Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad had a whooping 424 million. Superman, 248 million. That is 1 7/10 time, a little bit more than 1 7/10 time bigger than Superman. In other words, it approximates to almost double that of Superman's international box office. Let's keep it going. Because they said it passed Suicide Squad, right? They said it passed BVS. They said it passed Man of Steel domestically. But you don't have anything to compensate to make up for the amounts on the other end internationally. You got a nice surge domestically, but internationally, you're underachieving. You're flopped. Look at Suicide Squad. 424 million. That's the number Superman should be having. If it's got a domestic of 331 million, then you should have an international somewhere around this. By the way, Suicide Squad made 749 million, not adjusted for inflation. Let's keep it moving. Wonder Woman. Now, this is not a movie that domestically Superman has passed, but nonetheless, Wonder Woman holds her own, even though her international box office is slightly less than her domestic. 411 million. 411 million. It's less than Batman v Superman, and it's less than Suicide Squad, but nonetheless, it's solid figures. This is not adjusted for inflation. How many times bigger than Superman is that? $1.7 times again. Rounded off to the nearest whole number. They're a little less than twice as big. You think that's all? I got another one. Big time flop. Justice League. You know, Justice League pulled in 432 million. 432. Justice League. It was a flop. It was a flop. 661 million. Flop. Justice League pulled in 432 million. And by the way, Justice League had a budget of over $300 million, just like the Superman film. And it was a flop at 661 because it needed to make 735 million to break even. It fell short of that. It's a flop. So anybody tell me about this Superman film is doing no. But amazingly, even that film didn't get a lot domestically. It was a flop domestically, but internationally, 432 million. Let me say that again. 432 million. I'll show you something. I want to show you something. $1.7 times, roughly a little less than twice. Again, the revenue of Superman. They're not reporting this. They conveniently leave this out. Got one more. Aquaman. Aquaman has 335 million domestic. Superman's coming after it. Internationally, 817 million. 817 million. That is 3.3 times bigger than Superman's international budget. Now, all these slates of movies that I talked about, that slate of movies was organized and arranged while Zack Snyder was there. The way out, the order in which the movies came, the directors that came with Zack's, that when Zack Snyder was a director, those directors were there. Those are the original directors. Okay? Zack Snyder was supposed to do Justice League because Joss Whedon tampered with that, but we got the Snyder Cut. Look at the kind of money that was being generated by the affiliates of the Snyderverse and the Snyderverse itself. Big fucking international numbers. The international community, the world, embraced what was coming before them. It's fresh, unique, had a spin, a take on it that people liked. So they're not giving you the full picture. They're giving you part of the picture. The part they want to let you know about because they have direct control over it. Look at Aquaman. $817 million internationally. How are you going to beat that? How? So, when they talk about Superman, you've got to give the complete story, the complete picture. This is why we deal with worldwide gross. Then we break it down to international and domestic. So we can work out how much profit the studio actually made, if it made any profit at all. What was their revenue like? And again, we have to add in this. Superman also his domestic figures are being boosted by the company. The company is putting out money nullifying ticket sales to get a presentation as if it sold X amount of tickets. All of you know what a flop looked like. This is it. This one is what a flop looks like. We had Minecraft, the movie, made $955 million. Now, here's the other thing I want to show you guys. Superman, the film, is reported to have $225 million as its budget. We know it's closer to $300 million. Like The Flash. I want to show you something else. Man of Steel, we all know, had a 225, okay, 225 to $258 million budget. So you see, they finally tell the truth on that. Okay, it's Man of Steel. Okay, hold on. Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice had a 250 to $325 million budget. I want you to see this is the truth. All right, let's keep it moving. Suicide Squad, aka Studio Squad. It had $175 million budget. So it had a smaller budget than Superman. Wonder Woman with Patty Jenkins. Oh shit, that's the wrong one. Wonder Woman was the most lucrative to date. 149 million. Not done. Aquaman. Aquaman at $160 to $200 million budget. Again, very profitable film. Justice League, we know that at over $300 budget. So my point being that a lot of these films, Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad, Aquaman, had lower budgets than Superman. Yeah, their international box office numbers they're like almost 2 times that, and sometimes 3 times that of Superman, within the case of Aquaman. The Snyderverse and even the Snyderverse affiliates, even the flop of Justice League, did better than Superman internationally. In other words, Superman internationally was a box office flop, whereas domestically it did decent numbers, but not enough to counterbalance the horrible international flop that happened to it. I'm Christ I Am Disciple. Sure, I'm telling you is Superman is basically a box office flop. They gotta make over $700 million to break even. That's not happening anytime soon.